in September of this year. So I want to welcome all our student panelists, and we're going to be going bit by bit, hearing about this exciting experience everyone went through, and sharing all our wonderful stories. So we have a lot of stuff to cover, and we're going to do it really quickly, because we have a lot of material to go through. So this is our group, and from right to left, there's Joe Tafur. He's the MD who runs the center. This is the first group of medical students who came here to this clinic. And it's run by Willette, who's a shaman. So we're going left to right. We're with the red shirt. Ricardo is the master shaman. So you see Zan, me, Matt. Sita, she helps run the clinic as well. She's a visionary artist. And from the bottom, there's Cindy. Kathy Gold, she runs Southwest Herbs. Warren, Tanisha, Valerie, and Tiffany. So, is that a Ginger? Yeah, Ginger's here right there too. We're going to be talking about you. So this is a journey we took. We went from Phoenix to LA to Panama City to Iquitos, and there's a picture of the Amazon River. And this is a traditional healing center. It was founded specifically for the purpose of keeping this shamanic healing tradition alive. And this is a 3,000-year-old healing tradition. The Shipibo culture is alive and well. These are people who've done these traditional plant medicine ceremonies for thousands of years the same way. This is a very traditional healing center for that way. So participants who come here, they come for self-development, but they also come because they have chronic conditions that nothing else can work with. This includes psychiatric conditions, chronic fatigue, autoimmune, a lot of things that they're willing to do whatever it takes to get an answer. So when you first get there, they do give you what's called a vomitivo. It's a plant, it's a herb that actually cleans out your GI, so you quickly purge in a few minutes, or 30 minutes to an hour, and you get to clean yourself out and get ready for this regimen. When you first get there, they also ask you questions about what your goals are, which can be self-development, and to heal. There's so many levels of healing which can occur. And every day, they prescribe a daily plant medicine that you take. So we're going to talk about all this lovely nature that all of us have experienced. They put you in a very clean diet, and they can feed you a master plant called ayahuasca, which is a mixture of these two plants that have done for 3,000 years. It's considered one of the most powerful plants in the Amazon. A master plant is one that teaches and heals you. And this is where these ceremonies are done in the Maloka. It's a round ceremony building where you do lots of beautiful things. And there's been very good studies about this type of medicine. And while we're doing these ceremonies, the shaman actually sings with the song to heal you. So we have some visionary art we'll be talking about. And let's start with, who would we like to start with? Cindy. Okay. So Cindy, I'm going to give you the mic, and so tell us about your journey, what you got out of it, any healing insights.
It was quite a trip. As you can see, I tripped when I was there. Broke my ankle, and got to have the experience with having my ankle set with a bone setter. Dr. Nick talks about that here in March. She made it. It couldn't walk on it at all. It stuck me in a wheelbarrow to get me from one place to another. She came and she worked on my foot, her hands, and within, what do you think, 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
I didn't. She put everything back in place, and I was able to walk again. Actually went to the zoo and into town, and all those things were very nice, which is amazing.
Tell us about when you experienced different insights or healing.
Oh, I had some pretty rough stuff in my background when I was a child, and I got through a lot of it. It was rough going, I will tell you. It was not easy. It was hard work, but I think I made a lot of progress. Especially like the whole 1 minute ago, but it was good. Oh, yeah. They brought in a visionary artist. I didn't bring my painting because I don't have enough hands anymore. Ruisa, he's an amazing young man artist. We got to go over and work in the art Maluka. And yeah, I found out that I like to paint. Actually, not too bad at all. It was fun. I spent almost all my afternoons over that. working with him. He actually helped us paint our own paintings with him, and then we got to do our own as well. It was fun, a lot of fun. No, I didn't bring mine. I'm sorry. As you can see, I have shift this afternoon, and I've got bags, and I can't. It's just. I'm sorry. I have some cool things. So I have this. It's about this long. It's a bow harp, and it has an angel carved on one side. It has strings, and you put it in your mouth and you play. It's pretty amazing. It's a beautiful pieces of textiles, and I gave most all my jewelry away to my kids. But it was fun. I brought it around home for my grandson. It was really great. I would love to go again. You should go.
So, my experience. It was weird to hear you on my phone. Where do I start? Well, when I first decided to go to Peru, I really didn't know a whole lot about ayahuasca. I knew a little bit about the DMT. Didn't really have time to do a lot of research. I just know Stefan had told me that he went to Peru this summer, and I was like, I have to go. It just has to work. So when I got down there, when you meet with the shaman and the doctor, you kind of set your intentions about what you want to work on. So a lot of my stuff was physical. Then it was some mental, emotional things and things I want to work with as far as my relationship with people. So they assigned me a master plan called ayahuasca, which is kind of the same family as ayahuasca, similar names. I was the only person that took this master plan. We have to take our plant every single day at a certain time. And my plant was specifically for GI issues and reproductive issues, and that is mainly my physical problems that I usually have. And, during the whole journey, your master plant and ayahuasca is working on you even when you're not in ceremony. So my first ceremony was very physical. It was very intense. It was very painful. I had involuntary muscle contractions from my head all the way down to my feet. And at one point, my fingers were kind of bending back to the point where I felt like it was going to pop, like my bone was going to break. So I even had it in my ears. Now, we really don't have muscles in our ears, but somewhere in my ears, it was pulsating. All my muscles in my eye, in my face, everything was contracting and releasing, contracting and releasing. And then in my abdominal area, I felt like it was tight and then it was pulling. So it was like my stomach was caving in literally like this. And so Lauren was my mat partner, and she saw me. She saw me in pain, and my feet were going, and she was just kind of rubbing me. And it was very intense and physical, and you remember everything that is happening to you the whole time. And then I just remember hearing, this is work. We're working on you. And when I say we, I believe it's ayahuasca, God, the angels, everybody, my past family members and spirits, everybody is working on me together to help heal me. And I felt like they said, first we have to get to the physical stuff, then we can get to the mental and emotional things. So I basically fell asleep in the Maloka because I couldn't even get up. I was too tired to get up. I couldn't move. And then the next morning, I woke up and I felt like I had the best massage I had ever had in my life, period. Like, I felt so relaxed, my muscles were relaxed. Physically, I just felt good, So that was, most of my experiences with ceremony were more physical. I did have some mental, emotional, but it wasn't that much. Also, as far as the diet, so they put you on a very strict traditional diet. No salt, no sugar, no sex, which that's not a diet, but no salt, no sugar, all the S's. No salt, no sugar, no sex, no seasoning, no spices, no alcohol, nothing good. So we were already restricted, but I was listening to my body, listening to my gut. So we could have eggs, we could have chicken, which I still don't think it was chicken. I don't think I told everybody that, but it was some type of fowl. We don't really know what it was, but it did not agree with me. So I listened to myself, and I said, I'm not going to eat that. So I was even more restricted. And then I kind of realized my addiction. And so guess what? Peppermint tea. Like, I was craving peppermint tea, water and cold ice water. That's all I wanted, more than anything else in the world. And then I also decided not to bring any electronics there, so I didn't really use my phone or Wi-Fi or internet. So I kind of wanted to detox from that, and I realized I really wasn't missing that as much as I thought I would. I really wasn't that addicted to it, so that was good. As far as our visionary art, the last one. I am not an artist at all whatsoever. I draw stick figures. So the visionary artist that was there really helped me do this. At first, I decided I wasn't going to participate, and I felt like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I should at least try. And I feel like my painting turned out pretty good. And basically, it's a combination of a few different visions that I had. I saw a lot of orange, red, and yellow, and later I realized that those are the first three chakras. And those were the areas that the plants were working on. So that was perfect. And then I also saw some snakes, which is a representation of ayahuasca, not in a negative way, not in the, how they describe snakes in the Bible, dark and evil. It wasn't like that. Ayahuasca, as you saw in the video, is like a vine. So it also can show up and symbolize in different ways. So this was a combination of my different visions that I saw, and how did it change my life? It taught me to listen to my body, and then I'm more of a believer in plant medicine, because that was another reason. I'm a city girl, and I said, if I'm going to be a naturopathic physician, I need to build a relationship with nature. And what better way than to go out into the Amazon and live in nature for 2 weeks and take these plants and build a relationship and listen to them. And now I'm definitely a firm believer in botanical medicine and listening to plants and knowing that they're beings, And I feel like it's still, ayahuasca and ayahuasca is still working on me right now. My GI symptoms are better. They're not 100%, but I'm more in tune with my body, and I don't really have a lot of cravings. I lost weight when I was there, and the doctor said most people will end up gaining the weight back when they come back home. I haven't gained the weight back. I'm losing more weight, which is one of the things I want to work on. So I just feel like it's still constantly working on me and my relationships with people. It's definitely something that I will do probably every 5 years in my life, or anytime something comes up and I feel like physically, mentally, or if I'm just like, I don't know what to do with my life, I'm kind of stuck in a rut, or I'm just lost or confused. This is the place that you go to kind of sort things out in your life. Okay. If you're considering going, then you should do it. If you have any addictions, you should just do it. And the money will come. Yes. You have a question? No shamans here. Okay.
We'll have to save the questions for later, unfortunately, to give everyone a chance. But the shamans would love to come here, but they want us to go experience the medicine in the cultural context and setting that it was originally designed for. I mean, these are authentic ceremonies the way they've been done for thousands of years. But it's a very good question. You could still bring some of the ceremonies, some of the shamanism, some of the magic back here, but there's something very powerful about experiencing it the way it was originally intended, where it came from. So thank you, Tanisha. Let's give her a warm hand. Thank you. Okay. So now, Tana will tell us about her magical experiences.
Well, first of all, this is the Amazon had always been on my bucket list. So when I turned 50, I made a bucket list. And so the Amazon I've always loved plants. I've always been real drawn to botanical medicine, and I spent a lot of time out here in the Southwest Desert. So I wanted to always do the jungle. And so when Stefan had gone last year, I said, definitely we're going to take a group, and I'm going. So I cleared the calendar of a year. When I got there, I never done anything like ayahuasca, those kind of drugs, or experimented visionary stuff, or just haven't taken even in here in the States, anything like that. So I had really nothing to go on other than the little bit of research that I did, but I tended not to do that before I went, because I really wanted to go and experience it in person. And so when we got there, as Tanisha said, when we met with the shaman and the intention, and I had a really rough quarter 6, so my intention was to go, and I really, really wanted to be physically healed before I went into the clinic. I mean, that was just a real strong intention. And so with that intention, the shaman worked on me. So most of my ceremonies, as was Tanisha's, was very, very physical. And the first part was very, very hard work. And actually, after the second one, I was like, I don't know, stripped. What was the term we heard from McAllister yesterday? Scorched earth. That's why I felt my body. As everything was just stripped away, and I was like, I want to go home. Well, you're in the Amazon, and it's not like the airport's like right there, so you just got to deal. So I went to but that's where the shaman come in. They seem to sense, even though you haven't talked. For me, it was like learning to relax. So it's like, oh, I don't have to study. I don't have to do this. I can just lay around and read, sleep. But it's very, very difficult for me. It took me like 3 or 4 days to just detox and be okay with that. But the shaman come and find you, and they inquire. It's like they just know once they're giving you that medicine and you have the ceremonies, and then you have your master plan, and they check in with you. And they're like, how did you know I was feeling like that? And then they speak to you, and Joe, he's just wonderful and loving and caring, and he spoke with me, and just through the words that he had and the confidence, I was able to go, okay, so what I'm going through is fine. And I was so glad that I stayed and that I stayed open, because I really, what did I came back, I had blood tests when I came back, and they're like normal. And even though the first week when I got back, you looked at the blood tests and you saw what I was going through physically, they didn't match. It was ayahuasca, and my master plant was aho sacha, was still working and stuff. I'm like, you're still processing. And I'm like, well, I'm done processing. She just had different plans. And once that, it was just this huge relief, and I just feel very strong and really good about entering the first 2 weeks of my clinic experience. It's been very positive. And even my families, I think I'm much calmer, and I don't get rattled as much. Not that I've been working on that, but I also worked on a lot of emotional stuff that came towards the end after we worked on the physical, and that alone was worth the time and the money that I went. And I still know that I have more work to do. So I, like Tanisha, will be making a trip back there to finish what we started, because it's so powerful. I highly, highly recommend that if it's something that you have some issues or didn't know, or you love the plant medicine, just learning to listen to each of the plants and that you're on, and still, I still have conversations with my master plant, and she still talks to me and lets me know on the diet too. Like the diet was very strict. It was not fun. It's really blah and stuff. But coming back here, I still have not gone back to coffee. I couldn't wait to have a cup of coffee, actually. I had one and got violently ill, so I doubted if I would drink it again. So I was all wasted, like, it was like, so, I gave up that was really my only, like, I really miss coffee, but now I don't. I mean, I'm beyond that, and continue and actually the diet, like the no salt, because of my kidney issues that I was dealing with. And it's working. Oh, so, because I'm a bustier female, so if you're that, you might want to take your white shirt if you go to the Amazon. That's all I'm going to tell you. Because they're kind of tiny, those little people. And so I had this shirt that I covered, and so the shaman, one of the, Ursilia, did you have a picture of her? She actually took my shirt and she put the ayahuasca on the back, and then she did it in like 2 days. She did it hand stitched it. So that's it. So it's got a special meaning for me. What I want to send. One of the things is I saw there, and we saw from not so much us, because for the most part, most of us knew our issues, but we saw people there that had issues here in the States that don't, like addictions and stuff, and how powerful that was, and how healing it was. And so definitely, I have a daughter-in-law that deals with addiction, and we're working on getting her there right now. because she's been through a couple of rehabs here and still struggling. And I am 100% sure that when she goes, she's going to come back healing because of the powerful medicine of ayahuasca and the Amazon plants. I mean, it heals. I mean, we saw that. There were people there that were healed in the 2 weeks that we were there, and some that just come to check in. And so from that, I'll be sending patients that are feeling. Definitely will not feel scared or holding back and suggesting that they make this trip to Nihao for healing. As one of the treatment plans. It won't be any doubt in my mind that this is what we need to do if you want to be healed. And it's cheaper. I mean, you put the money on how I don't know, any of you gone through that where with family, it's very, very expensive. And there's not many choices right now in the state of Arizona. And then here's this right here in our back door.
All right, then we're going to Xana, thank you. Hey, you have any other art you want to show us?
I have a cloth. Actually, this is it's a cloth, but it's actually a skirt. Yeah. So, and it's for protection. So you see the women all wear them when they're there. They have them like this, but I'm not going to wear something like this, and that's what they wear. That's what the women wear walking around. And this was another one that. The same shaman that did this, she did this one.
Yeah, so they're usually in the ceremonies, there's these 2 male shamans and 1 female shaman. And they're very gifted in that this is a visionary culture. Every indigenous culture around the world has had vision quests of one form or another, where you journey to call on your light, to call on the beings and the deities and God to help you find what you're looking for. And heal your soul, heal your body. So
this is Ursilia. You saw this particular piece of art on the lot. That's how you can tell it's her artwork, and it's on my back. And even Stefan had some work done. This is her. You know, if you see it and around, you know that Ursilia did. That's her work and part of her. You know, what she sees in her visions.
This art reflects what they actually see. They feel it's an energetic and frequency signature of the plants that they're very deeply connected with. So this is a chance to experience plants and connect with them in a way that goes way beyond just reading about them or, hugging a tree. This is a very direct experience, the way they've grown up. This is their culture. So thank you, Zane. All right. Lauren.
Hello. I went to, like most of us here, I went to Stefan's presentation last year and just knew immediately. I felt a huge pull to go. I'm in bankruptcy right now, so I had no money. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but money came and everything worked out. I didn't do a lot of research about ayahuasca. I had some opportunities to try DMT when I was here before going there, and I decided that I wanted to have the full, authentic experience of having the ayahuasca in the Amazon, and I'm glad that I did. I didn't go with a lot of expectations, only the expectation that I was going to get whatever kind of healing that I needed, and that I wanted to become my best self for the patients that I was going to be working with in clinic and in the future. Peru was one of the most profound, life-changing experiences I've ever had. I've been what I would consider a spiritual person for a long time. I'm a yoga teacher, and I've studied since I was a teenager, all of that kind of stuff. But the power of this medicine is beyond anything that I ever could have imagined or read about, or the love that you feel when you're there, the connectedness that you feel when you're there to nature, to each other, to everything. You can talk, whatever it is that you believe in, whether you call it God or source, or there is definitely something that's bigger than all of us. And this gives you an opportunity to experience that firsthand. I had very powerful healing when I was there. Ayahuasca also offers, I guess the best way I could put it is that it kind of opens a portal into your subconscious. and sort of takes you down there and shows you around so that you can know what's going on. I mean, some of us are aware of the emotional and mental issues that we have, but there's also a lot of stuff that's in our blind spot that we're not even aware of, or maybe it's a trauma that you had as a child or as an adult that you thought you dealt with, or maybe it's just some, when you have traumas that happen, it makes an imprint on your, on your limbic system. And I felt ayahuasca working on that in a huge way. Like one of our principles in naturopathic medicine is treat the root cause, and that's what this medicine does. It gets to very quickly the root of the problem and helps show you the work that you need to do. A lot of people kind of believe that, they're going to go down there and experience the medicine, and the medicine is going to heal them. And that's not really what happens. The medicine shows you what you need to work on and gives you that opportunity. I feel so much peace in my life, despite the fact that I'm a regular practicer of yoga and meditation and all of that other stuff that, we recommend people do to help find peace in their life. This went light years beyond that. I had a very powerful physical experience as well, very powerful physical purge. Every day it was different. One day my skin was totally covered in rash. The next day it was, fever and aches, like flu. And I actually ended up, while I was there, I fasted the majority of the time, right? I didn't really eat very much. But I also, and I fasted before, but I didn't feel hungry. I felt great. And so I just listened to the wisdom of my body and followed that and ended up coming back feeling so good physically also. So, and that was one of my intentions going down there too. I feel really excited about it because I used to be a dietitian and I've worked with a lot of people, especially in weight loss, who have tried to lose weight for years and tried everything, and it always ends up being an emotional problem, right? So that's always at the root cause of it. Or people, food can be a huge addiction too, just like anything else. And this medicine is so great to deal with that, to help show you what it is that's causing you to have those behaviors. So I'm so excited to have this as a tool to recommend to patients, because I think it's unlike anything else out there. It really is. And I used to skydive all the time, and I would always say to people that I met, who would be like, "Oh, I've always wanted to do that," or I've always felt the pull to do that, and I would always say, if you ever felt the pull, go do it, because you'll never regret it. And that's the exact same thing I would say about this. If you have any kind of feeling inside you that's pulling you right now, listen to it and go do it, because you definitely won't regret it.
Thank you. And this is also a very important point about the. Yeah, let's show us your painting.
This was so in one of my visions, it was revealed to me that one of my past relationships that was very abusive in my, many years ago, he kind of stole my light, is what was revealed to me. And I was able to get my light back through this experience, and this is a representation of that.
You painted this yourself?
And I painted this myself, and I'm not a painter. I've never painted before in my life.
So these are really powerful experiences, and there's this medicine, it really is medicine, a sacred visionary medicine that has been used historically for drug and alcohol addictions. In fact, there's a clinic in the area by Gabor Mate, if I remember the name correctly. He's 60+% effective in treating alcohol addictions, whereas AA, the percentages are way lower than that, because that is how this medicine works. It really literally works on your brain receptors. So, thank you. Hey. Thank you.
So I followed the pool that said I needed to go to Amazon. And I got myself there, and everything fit into place for me to be there, which one of the ceremonies I had, I always believe that the universe does take care of you, but to actually feel it, embody it, and experience it, it just took it to a whole nother level, and things are actually easier now in my life to just fall into place because I've let go completely, even more so, and it's just even more beautiful. My ceremonies ranged from beautiful to painful, and I had physical symptoms and I had emotional symptoms. I brought back one of the pieces of fabric right here, this first one. I was drawn to that one, and actually the night that I brought that into ceremony, I had one of the most profound ceremonies that night. And I've had a lot of physical illnesses in my lifetime besides emotional, and I found out the reason why and what I brought into this life along with that. So it was one of the more powerful ceremonies that I had. We had 6 ceremonies total, and after the 4th ceremony, it seemed like a lot of people had accomplished what they had came there to do. And I felt sad because I had so much more to do, and I knew I had so much more to do. So I'm definitely going back to the Amazon several times, if not stay, if the universe allows. So, I always wanted to paint as well, and I think it's so amazing that Joe, the doctor that was there, had this visionary artist come and help us, guide us to open up our artist in ourselves. I had no idea what to draw. I sat down in a minute and drew a big vision. I had like 10 things in the painting that I wanted to paint, but we only got like 2 or 3 in the painting, and he helped me do this painting. And I felt so much more open. There's just so many things to say that we don't have time in this span to talk about. So if you have any cool to draw, just talk to any of us who would love to share more about it.
Thank you, Ginger. So,
I too drank the Kool-Aid. And it's funny because I, like a few of the other ones, I really had no idea what it was I was getting in for. I didn't do any research. I was kind of a little bit of a control freak, said, okay, this is exactly what it is that I want to work on, and this is exactly how it is that I, want to accomplish it. Yeah, it does not work that way. The ayahuasca basically is the mother plant that will determine exactly how that journey is going to take place. And for me, there was a lot of heaviness in my heart to the point to where I didn't know if I was going to be able to continue going on to school or carry a lot of guilt because I moved and uprooted my life 1,500 miles away from my family. I'm going through some really hard times right now, and so I feel very guilty for not being there. And I carry a lot of guilt. I dealt with cancer, and I carry a lot of guilt with surviving and my loved ones that have not. And so I have just the utmost respect for that clinic and Dr. Joe and all of the shamans there. We're so very fortunate, and I've had such an amazing experience with each and every one of these individuals up here, and they created such a safe and loving environment for you to feel comfortable enough to share your experiences every day. We would come back together as a group, and you would start to bond with total strangers because you're all going through things that are very, very personal with each other. And yes, everybody gets there in different ways. They're physical, which includes a little bit of vomiting and diarrhea, unfortunately. And me, unfortunately, it was solving miserably. That was just the way that I processed it. And Joe was so kind and helped me because I had it was comforting vision one night. I got to have peace with people in my life that had passed, including my dog that I've had for 16 and a half years. And, but then I also got to see what I had in the future with my mother, and that was very painful. And so he was so kind, and probably, I don't know, in ayahuasca time, a minute is really probably hours. So I have no idea how long that he spent with me, but he allowed me to be able to process through that. And it was just so beautiful. There's no place on this earth that you can go and feel safe in the process and to go through some very horrifying things in your life and to actually have peace, have closure, and have the confidence to go on in your life other than there. Like I said, I have the most profound respect for Joe and all of the other shamans that have created that place so that people like us can go and actually heal ourselves, because truly, if it was not for that place, I don't think that I could have continued to go to school to be a naturopath physician.
And I had people telling me, I worked with a holistic veterinarian for the last 8 months, and he just kept telling me, you need to heal the healer. You need to heal the healer. And so I just kept having that in the back of my head. And myself, just like Lauren, this is probably the most at peace that I think that I have ever felt. I finally, that 800-pound gorilla that's been sitting on my chest for years and been out here is no longer gone. And now I know how to kind of process when things like that and obstacles are coming into my life, and class schedules and things and tests and anxiety are starting to heighten in your life. Now you know and have a better idea of how to process that. So it's not a coincidence that you guys are here. You guys obviously are called here for a reason, and you'll hear this from each and every one of us. There's a reason why, and so you need to listen to that calling, because you will not regret it. It'll be the best thing that you've ever done. I'm here today. Just like a lot of the others, I did a painting as well. I was fortunate enough, I got to buy one of Gruesom's paintings, which is this one right here. And I was drawn to it because my master plant is Rosa, which is a water-based plant. So it has serpents and mermaids and dolphins, and so you can see the significance of a lot of the water features there. And basically the butterflies symbolize a lot of the ayahuasca being reborn. So this is your spirit being reborn, and this is the one that I did. And so this is one of my visions where I had a vision of something that had happened to me in childhood that I kind of had an idea of. And this is what I talk about, is that Sita told us that we need to get in touch with our inner child. What the heck is she talking about? What does she mean by that? And so I just one night thought, you know what, I'm going to take my inner child to the shaman, and I'm just going to set her there and say, I need you to help her process with whatever this was that she was going through. And it was the most horrifying but yet beautiful experience, because he sang to me and I could feel her crying, but yet I spent the whole night, it was like a mother figure. I don't have any kids, but I spent the evening consoling her and just talking to her and answering questions for her. But there's nowhere in this world that a child could go through something so horrifying, a 5-year-old, to try to explain that to them, and for them to have the closure and the peace to be able to heal and move on. So the significance at the bottom is basically my hands that's holding and embracing my inner child. And then you'll see the butterflies as they start off really small. That's basically her being reborn and developing up into other butterflies. So, like I said, it's not a coincidence that you guys are here. So there's a reason why. So if you ever get a chance to do this, you so need to.
All right, so I came on this trip with maybe a little more experience with kind of visionary plant medicines and stuff. I thought I knew a lot and I knew what I was getting into, and I thought it was going to be fun. I thought I was going to, I'm going to trip out in the jungle, see some cool stuff, and have a good vacation. But it turned out to be the most powerful healing experience I've ever had in my whole life. And unlike a lot of the others, I felt physically pretty well going into it. And for me, it was a very mental, emotional, spiritual journey. And it was more about opening myself up than anything else. It was about getting rid of a lot of these negative, self-defeating beliefs, learning to trust and respect, and really growing up and maturing. And I did 7 ceremonies. They made me do an extra one on a private day because I had so many walls up, and the shamans saw it. They're like, "This, he needs more. He needs to drink more." And it was about the 4th ceremony. We had a ceremony on the full moon, and that was really when everything just broke wide open for me. The first 3 ceremonies I thought were like, "Oh, this is great. I'm having a great time." I was all blissed out, but I was still in my head. They were just like thoughts of bliss and love and peace, but they weren't actually the feeling of it. Because I had huge energetic blocks just from being in my head and being my ego all the time. I never really felt anything in my heart for a long time. And it split wide open for me on the 4th ceremony, and I got back in my heart. And for the rest of the trip, I could feel things again. I could feel people's energy. I could feel the mood shift in a room, and I haven't been able to feel anything for a really long time. So that was absolutely huge for me. So this, I wrote a couple minutes. I was listening to a lecture before. It was kind of about it. So this medicine, it allows you to change your perspective. It opens your perception, allows you to process more information, process more feelings, and get in there and basically see how you are responsible for your own sickness and what you need to do to fix it. And there's not anyone in this room who doesn't have stuff to work on. And I came there thinking, oh yeah, I don't need to work on anything. I'm so healthy. I never get sick. And oh yeah, we all have stuff buried deep in there and emotional things. And I dealt with a lot of things with my family and my parents and my perceptions of the world. And yeah, I could talk forever about it, but it was actually a life-changing experience. And if I could, I would probably be in Amazon right now training to be, a maestro and an ayahuasca, a shaman who does this type of medicine. And it definitely will be something to consider in my future. I'm probably going to go to South America and incorporate these plant medicine traditions into the healing that I do, because it really is that powerful. This is multi-dimensional medicine. It is working on the mind, the body, and the spirit. It's a multi-dimensional purge. You're purging out all this negative stuff and all this energetic blocks that you've been holding on to, and they come out as these physical body symptoms, and it's different for every person. Sometimes it's pain, sometimes it's sweating, sometimes it's vomiting or diarrhea or whatever. Me, it was a lot of vomiting. I puked pretty violently in 5 of the 7 ceremonies, 6 of the 7 ceremonies. And it was really just about physically breaking down my body with the diet. Yes, I always felt better after the purge. It was like I released all of this stuff, this spiritual burden and weight and emotional heaviness I was carrying in my heart, and you puke it all out. Oh my God, I'm a different person. And on my 6th ceremony, in the most blunt words, I found God. I experienced divinity. I had the divine experience. I was in the most still place in my mind and in my body, but I was able to fully connect to the source, and I was everything. It was the most peaceful, blissful feeling I've ever felt in my entire life. And I wish I could just have that every day, all the time. And that's what you meditate for 4 hours for, just for that tranquility. And it was absolutely amazing. We're at 49. So just a quick tour of my outfit. This is an amulet that I bought from one of the shamans. This is the ayahuasca vine that's kind of sewn into it. These are anaconda vertebrae. And this is like a boar's tooth. This is an amulet you wear for protection. Anytime you're traveling in the spirit realm, make sure you clear the negative energy. You go with good intentions and you go with love, because you open yourself up to a lot of things. And I was naive to thinking that it's all good and it's all love, but there is duality in this realm and in this dimension, and you can open yourself up to some negative stuff. So go with a shaman, go with the right guidance and intention, and you'll have a good, powerful healing journey. But it's hard work, and it's worth it.
Yeah, it's been said that thank you, Matt. It's been said that one ceremony, which lasts 6 hours, is the equivalent to 100 days or 100 hours of psychotherapy, traditional psychotherapy. And these are all important tools. Psychotherapy is a great support. I mean, these are friends. And we spend time after each ceremony debriefing and integrating. And the work comes when you've had a tremendous insight, and then you get to integrate it back into your life, to change your life, to make a difference. So this is really sacred medicine, very powerful. And you get to experience what medicine, when you experience this, you go, this really is medicine. And we mentioned master plant. That's a plant that teaches you and heals you. We're traditionally taught, in this culture, a plant heals you, calendula. You have a jagged wound. We're taught calendula is good for that. That's a healing aspect. But the plant that teaches, you get to experience that in reality here. So we could each of us could spend an hour or days talking about this and sharing all the insights we got. But I wanted to condense it all so all of you got this beautiful melange of experiences, this mosaic. And I want to thank some other people who couldn't make it. There's Tiffany. So Tiffany had a phenomenal time as well, had some beautiful insights, and she felt she got what she needed when she came here too. Also, we brought Kathy from Southwest Herbs. And here you see this little cute, what would you call this being? Sloth. A sloth. So they spend time just smiling and eating. So So Kathy was able to really enjoy herself as well. She was the one who originally hosted Dr. Kapoor, who is an MD licensed in Arizona, by the way. She was able to host him initially speak about this topic that I heard last year, and I said, I heard the calling, I said, I need to do this. I've been doing my research, I've been doing lots of spiritual practices in my own development, but I wanted something authentic and getting me in contact with another form of medicine. I wanted to experience it directly. And this was my experience. I had a combination of blissing out to some plant medicine. We did a flower bath the first few days we got there. These are flowers soaked in water where we pour over ourselves and use that as a bath, as a soak, so all the essence soaks in. And it was such bliss. Someone caught me live on camera there. And this was us outside of Butterfly Farm. So we do have a chance to take some journeys. We did go down the Amazon. We went to a Butterfly Farm. We did go shopping downtown. So you do have a little bit of time recreationally, but obviously this is not the Machu Picchu. Parasilk goes to Machu Picchu tour. This is, intense, beautiful healing work you do on yourself, that as you understand how it works on you, you can heal yourself, heal others better, and even then you'll know what kind of patients or clients to refer, which is really important too. So there's so much more to say about the research. I mentioned Gabor Mate working with addictions and drug and alcohol addiction more successfully than AA. And there's research on MDMA for PTSD. This visionary medicine is very valuable for trauma, especially here, all the traumas that have cleared. Because you imagine you're having a dream. You can open your eyes if you're dreaming, if you don't like the dream. So it's the same thing here, but the dream world gets more intense. You can go into yourself and see in 3D and experience that. And actually, your brain doesn't know the difference between a real or imagined event. That's hypnosis. So here we get to de-hypnotize yourself from a bad memory. You get contact with yourself by cleaning. So I also wanted to cover the naturopathic principles. I think we all felt the healing power of nature here. Identifying, treating the root causes of a trauma. Why do we have IBS? Going to the source of that, pointing it out. First, doing no harm, teaching, treating the whole person, preventing illnesses. And I realize we're short on time, so I'm going to skip ahead to thanking everyone for making this trip possible. Thanking Mike very much believes that this is a very sacred tradition that needs and wants to be shared with people who want to spread the light, spread the word with integrity. So, again, thanks so much for everyone. I wish we had more time, but let's give everyone a good thank you for being here and for the Thank you.